I noticed it because it wasn't supposed to exist. The building had been mapped, measured, and archived long before I started working there. Every floor plan was stored digitally and in print. I'd seen them all. I knew the shape of the place the way you know the layout of your own home in the dark. The room wasn't on any of them. It appeared at the end of a hallway on the lowest level. A short corridor that had always ended in a blank concrete wall now extended a few feet farther than it should have. At the end of it was a door. No markings, no handle, just a narrow seam where it could open. I stood there for a long time, waiting for the feeling to pass. Buildings settle, paint cracks, your memory fills in gaps that were never there. I went back upstairs and checked the plans. The hallway ended where it always had. The next morning, the door was still there. I didn't touch it. For a week, I pretended not to notice. I walked past it quickly. I avoided looking straight at it. The corridor felt colder than the rest of the level, like the air hadn't been disturbed in a long time. Then something changed. The lights along that hallway began turning on by themselves, always in order, always leading toward the door. I stopped taking that route. 2 days later, the door was open. The room beyond it was small, bare concrete, no windows, no fixtures, no smell, just empty space. Except for the sound. A low, steady hum, almost below hearing. The kind you feel more than you notice, vibrating lightly in your chest. I stood at the threshold and waited for something to happen. Nothing did. When I came back the next day, the door was closed. The floor plan still hadn't changed, but the building felt tighter. Like something had been added without making room for it. I started hearing the hum in other places. In the stairwell, in the break room, sometimes at my desk late in the day when the office was nearly empty. It was always faint, always easy to dismiss, until the morning I realized it stopped when I was alone. The hum only existed when someone else was nearby. Not close, just present in the building. I tested it without meaning to. I stayed late one evening and waited until everyone had gone. The silence was complete. When I stepped into the hallway with the door, the hum returned immediately. Louder now. The door was open again. Inside the room, the sound was strong enough to rattle my teeth. Something was written on the far wall. Not carved, not painted. Pressed into the concrete like an impression left behind by something heavy. The words were shallow, uneven, and incomplete, as if they'd been erased and rewritten over and over and over again. This space is required. I backed away. The next day, part of the floor plan updated. Just one detail. The hallway was longer now. A few coworkers began complaining about headaches, about feeling disoriented, about getting lost in stairwells they'd used for years. One of them didn't come back after lunch. No announcement, no explanation. Their desk was just cleared before the end of the day. The hum grew stronger. The room grew larger. Each morning, the corridor extended a little farther. Each night, the building felt heavier. I stopped checking the plans. It didn't matter anymore. Yesterday, the door wouldn't close. Today, the room has lights. Tomorrow, the space it needs will be taken from somewhere. I can already feel where it's coming from. The hum is loud now, and the building is still growing.